The air reeked of gasoline and ash as I stood in the ruins of my shop, EM4 steady in my grip, my hands still black from the fire. The roar of engines haunted me, my bikes, my life, torched by racist cops and their biker dogs. I'm Nate Sullivan, call sign Tide, Navy SEAL, retired to build something real. Brewer's crew and the White Vipers thought they'd break me, smashing my shop, beating my apprentice near death, all because I wouldn't bend for their dope racket. They picked the wrong fight. I don't kneel, I kill everything they stand for. Now, I've got a crew, hard men who've bled like me, and we're coming. The cops who swung the bats, the bikers who lit the match, the brass laughing from the shadows, they're all marked. I smell their sweat already, hear their panic in the quiet. They thought they'd bury me with my shop. They unleashed a storm instead. They broke my world first. I'll break theirs last. The rain hammered the smoldering ruins of my shop, oil and ash pooling under my boots. I stood in the wreckage, MIN4 slung across my chest, fingers tracing the bent edge of Jamal's ID card, my apprentice, my kid brother in spirit, beaten half dead by Brewer's cops and the White Vipers. I'm Nate Sullivan, call sign Tide, Navy SEAL, 20 years in the deep end. I'd opened this place, Sully's Cycles, to fix bikes, not fight wars. They took that from me. 3 nights ago they'd rolled in, Hank Brewer, badge gleaming, and his biker goons, leather patched with White Vipers. I'd refused their deal, hand over my land for their dope runs, or else. Else came fast, crowbars, Molotovs, fists on Jamal when he tried to stop him. Stay down, boy. They'd sneered, slurs cutting the air. I'd been out back, heard the crash, too late. They left him bleeding, shop burning, thinking I'd break. They didn't know me. Tonight I started hunting. Deputy Klein, Brewer's lapdog, loudmouth, was the weak link, drinking at a dive off Route 5. I slipped through the alleys, rain masking my steps, avoiding headlights. The bar's neon buzzed, bikes lined up, Viper territory. I posted up across the lot, behind a rusted dumpster, watching Klein stumble out, laughing like he hadn't torched my life. I moved, silent, fast, grabbing him in the shadows, arm locking his throat. He flailed, stinking of whiskey. Who ordered the hit? I hissed, knife pricking his neck. Brewer, he choked, eyes bulging. Him and the Vipers, dope through your shop. Where's he now? I pressed deeper. Safe house, old garage, north. He gasped. Don't. I snapped his neck. Clean drop. First blood. Not enough. I torched his bike message sent, and headed north. The garage loomed, lights faint in the rain. Footsteps crunched. I ducked low. A figure stepped out, battered but standing. Jamal, crutch under one arm, Glock in hand. He'd survived. You after Brewer, he rasped, voice steady. I rose, cautious, MIN4 ready. He burned my shop, nearly killed you. You. They took everything, he said, eyes burning. I'm in. Team up, I said. Garage is the play. He nodded, gripping the Glock. Let's hit it. We moved, shadows in the storm, toward Brewer's lair. Jamal's voice echoed, you're my shot, Tide. I'd failed him then. Not now. The old garage squatted in the dark, its rusted doors glinting under weak sodium lights, rain pounding the cracked asphalt. Jamal limped beside me in the shadows, his Glock steady despite the crutch, his eyes sharp with fury. 4 inside, he whispered, nodding at silhouettes through the grimy windows. Brewer's got 2 Vipers out front, sloppy, armed. 2 each, I said, checking my M4's suppressor. Quiet. Brewer's mine. He gritted his teeth fierce. Let's bleed 'em. We split. Me left, Jamal right. I hugged the shadows, rain cloaking my steps. The first Viper leaned against a bike, cigarette glowing. I slipped behind, knife to the kidney. Silent drop. The second turned. I snapped his neck, easing him into the mud. Jamal's side went smooth. 2 muffled pops, his Glock silenced. We met at the side door, stacking up. It creaked open, unlocked, careless. Inside, Brewer's voice growled. Klein ain't checked in. Find him. I signaled Jamal, flashbang. He lobbed it through, light and thunder bursting. Shouts turned to screams. I stormed in, dropping a cop with a headshot, suppressor hissing. Jamal followed, Glock barking, 2 Vipers down, blood pooling on oil-stained concrete. Brewer bolted for a back room, burly frame ducking low. I tackled him, slamming him into a workbench. Tools clattered. He swung a wrench. I blocked, smashed his jaw. Blood sprayed. You burned my shop, I snarled, knife to his throat. Should have sold out. Brewer spat, grinning red. Nigger lover. I drove the blade through his chest. Slow, final. He gurgled. Gone. No mercy for that filth. Jamal rifled a desk. Cash. Burner phone. A map. Cartel drop, he said, tapping coordinates. Warehouse. East side. Tomorrow. We hit it, I said, wiping my knife. We torched the garage. Flames roaring in the rain. Back at the truck, I gripped Jamal's ID. His voice, young, trusting. I'd failed him then. Not now. Jamal leaned on his crutch, grim. They broke my ribs, called me trash. This is for me too, for all of them, I said. The war was on. The warehouse intel was gold, east side of town, a cartel hub tied to Brewer's racket. We'd gutted the sergeant. Now we'd bleed the beast. Jamal knew a guy, Rico, ex-SEAL, broad and scarred. My old swim buddy from the teams. He'd lost a cousin to the Vipers' dope. 3 of us now, a crew forged in loss. We prepped in a motel, neon buzzing outside. I cleaned my M4. Jamal loaded mags. Rico rigged Molotovs from scavenged bottles. 10 guards, Jamal said, studying the map. Trucks roll in at 2 a.m. Power's the play, I said. Cut it, hit from the dark. Rico torched the crates. Jamal flank right. I'll snipe left. Rico grunted, lighting a fuse. Fires my game. Night fell, the warehouse a dark sprawl under clouds. We moved silent, splitting at the fence. I wired the breaker. Lights died. Guards cursing. Rico lobbed a Molotov. Flames roared. Dope crates blazing. I dropped 2 with scoped shots. Clean, quiet. Jamal flanked, Glock spitting. 3 down. Blood on asphalt. Rico charged, shotgun barking. 4th guard's chest caved. I hit the yard, knifing a 5th. Throat opened. Silent drop. A sniper's round zipped past. I rolled, fired. Tower bastard fell. Trucks burned as Rico tossed more fire. Chaos spreading. Jamal grabbed a ledger. Names, Rotes. A Viper boss's mark. Snake. He's next, he said. Sirens wailed. Time to bolt. We piled into Rico's truck. Flames lighting our wake. Back at the motel, I traced Jamal's ID. His voice. You're the boss, tied. I'd failed him then. This was close. Rico cracked a grin. My cousin OD'd on their shit. This feels good. Almost, I said. Snake loomed. Snake struck back. Rico's truck torched outside the motel at dawn. Pay up scrawled in ash. We'd cut their flow. They'd cut our ground. The crew tightened, Jamal pacing. Rico slamming fists. They're scared, I said, flipping the ledger. Next drops tonight. Old Mill. Outskirts. We hit harder. Jamal scouted. Tight lot. 8 guards. Snake might show. Good, I growled. We end him. We struck at dusk. Shadows deep. I rigged a tripwire. Grenade across the road. Rico took the roof. Shotgun up. Jamal wired a distraction. Car alarm. Blocks away. My M4 hummed. Scope on the drop. Trucks rolling in. Alarm blared. Guards turned. I clicked the wire. Boom. 2 shredded. Rico blasted heads. 2 down. Jamal flanked. Glock roaring. 3rd fell. I moved, dropping a 4th. Clean shot. Snake's SUV screeched in. Tall, tattooed, barking orders. I aimed. A Viper tackled me. Fist cracking my jaw. I rolled, knifed his gut. Down. Snake peeled out. Dust flying. Chase, I yelled. We piled into Jamal's beater. Tires screaming. He'd bleed soon. Back at base, I gripped Jamal's ID. His voice, steady, hopeful. I'd failed him. Not now, Rico muttered. My cousin's ghost screams for this. For all M, I said. The hunt tightened. Snake's trail led to a safe house. Old barn, town edge, 2 bikes out front. He'd hole up, call muscle. We had hours. Jamal drove. Rico patched a graze. I planned. Fast, brutal. 6 guards, I said, scoping the barn. Jamal left. Rico, right. I'll breach. We hit at midnight. Rain gone. I cut the power. Darkness fell. Guard shouted. I dropped 2, suppressed shots. Jamal knifed a 3rd. Rico blasted a 4th. Shotgun thunder. Inside, Snake waited. Pistol up. You're dead, Seal. You first, I snarled, diving as he fired. Round grazed my arm. I tackled him, slamming his wrist. Gun fell. He clawed my throat. I smashed his nose. Blood sprayed. Rico pinned him. Shotgun to his skull. Talk, I said. Who's above you? He spat. Torres cartel brass. You're fucked. I drove my knife into his thigh, twisting. Where? Compound. South Hills, he screamed. I yanked the blade. Chest next. Slow. He gasped. Gone. For Jamal, I whispered. We grabbed files. Torres' name. A stronghold. Back in the truck, I held Jamal's ID. His eyes, bright, gone. Close, kid. Jamal stared out. They broke me. This fixes it. Almost, I said. Torres loomed. Torres's files pointed to a compound. Stone walls, guards, South Hills. Snake's death shook them, but Rico took a hit. Sniper, chest, dawn ambush. We burned him by the river. Shotgun in the flames. 2 left now. Jamal slammed the table. We're bleeding. Torres next, but we're short. For Rico, I said, voice flat. We hit his convoy. Thin him out. Jamal scouted. Rural pass. 8 guards. 2 trucks. I rigged a rock slide. Chaos bait. We struck at dusk. Stones crashing. Lead truck crushed. Guards fired wild. I dropped 3 precise shots. Jamal flanked. Glock barking. 2 down. Torres's voice crackled over a radio. Kill him. A sniper grazed my leg. I rolled. Fired. Headshot. Jamal torched the 2nd truck. Cash and dope blazed. We limped out. Files in hand. Torres's lair. Next target. Back at base, I sat with Jamal's ID. His laugh. Fading. I'd failed him then. Not now. Jamal joined. Grim. Rico was my rock too. Torres ends this. For all I said. The final cut neared. The convoy smoldered in the rural pass, black smoke curling into the dusk, the air thick with burned rubber and dope. Ichicha Rico's death, cut deep. His shotgun still rang in my ears, but the files we'd grabbed pointed south. Torres compound, a fortress of stone and steel. We'd gutted Snake, shaken their chain. Now we'd sever the head. Jamal and I holed up in a roadside shack, wind rattling the walls. I cleaned my M4, suppressor gleaming, while Jamal pored over the files. Walls, towers, 10 guards, he said, voice rough. Torres runs it tight. Cartel muscle. We've hit worse, I said, taping mags. Next shipment's tomorrow. Big, loose. We strike there. Thin him out. He nodded, loading his Glock. For Rico, me. Your shop. For all of him. I said, Jamal's ID, heavy in my pocket. We moved at dawn, scouting the shipment route. A winding road, flanked by hills, perfect for an ambush. I rigged C4 under a culvert. Small charge, big mess. Jamal took the ridge, Glock and binos ready. My earpiece crackled. His voice, trucks inbound, 6 guards, engines growled, dust rising. I waited, finger on the detonator. Now, I hissed. The blast popped, culvert collapsed, lead truck flipping, crates spilling, guards shouted, rifles up. I sighted, dropped 2, suppressed shots, heads snapping. Jamal flanked, Glock barking, 2 more down. A guard fired wild, round grazed my shoulder. I rolled, popped him, chest hit. Jamal pinned the last truck, Glock roared. 5th guard slumped, the 6th ran. I chased, tackled him, knife to his throat. Torres where? Compound, East Gate, he gasped. I snapped his neck. Quick, done. We torched the wrecks, grabbed a burner phone. Torres' voice, furious, find them. Too late, bastard. Back at the shack, I gripped Jamal's ID. His laugh, young and steady. I'd failed him once. Not now. Jamal patched his hand, grim. They broke me. I hear it still. Torres dies slow, slow and sure, I said. The compound waited. Torres's compound loomed like a cartel stronghold. Stone walls, razor wire, towers piercing the hills. Shipment hit rattled him. Guards doubled but sloppy, stretched thin. Jamal and I had blood in our teeth. This was the next step to his throat. We prepped lean. My M4. Jamal's Glock. C4 scavenged from the convoy. Eastgate's weakest, I said, sketching the layout. Powers external. Cut it. Breach quiet. I'll take the tower. You hit the yard. Jamal grinned. Dark, like you taught me. Tide. Deadlier, I said, checking my knife. Night fell heavy, the compound glowing under floodlights. We crept through the brush, avoiding patrols. I wired the power box. Spark. Darkness swallowed the place. Guards cursed, radios crackling. Jamal slapped C4 on the gate. Blast tore it open, metal screaming. I scaled the tower, grappling hook, biting stone. The sentry turned, too late. Knife to the spine. He dropped silent. I sighted the yard. Jamal moving, dropping two with precise shots. I flanked, hitting a third. Headshot, clean. Chaos erupted. Shouts, gunfire. Jamal tossed a flashbang. Light and thunder stunned a knot of men. I stormed in, men 4 barking. 3 down, blood on dirt. A sniper's round zipped past. I rolled, fired, tower bastard fell. Rifle clattering. We cleared the yard, bodies piling. Inside I barked, kicking the main door. Torres waited somewhere, and I'd find him. Back at the shack, I traced Jamal's ID, his weight on my shoulder, battered but alive. I'd promised him a future. This was close. Jamal slumped, wiping sweat. They beat me, called me nothing. This is my fight too. Ours, I said. The end near. The compound's main building was a bunker. Steel doors, narrow halls. Torres's last stand. We'd cut his guard count, but the core remained. Cartel enforcers, armed heavy. Time ticked. Sirens loomed faint. Jamal and I stacked up, blood and dust on our boots. Vent shaft, I said, spotting a grate above. I'll drop in. You breach. Jamal rigged C4, nodding. For Rico. I crawled the shaft. Men 4 slung tight, sweat dripping. It dumped me in a guard room. 2 men, radios buzzing. I dropped behind, knife flashing, throats slit, quiet. The hall pulsed red, alarms blaring. Breach, I keyed. Jamal's blast rocked the door. Debris flew, shouts erupted. I moved parallel, hitting a post. 3 guards, panicked. Flashbang rolled. Pop, they staggered. 2 headshots, 1 chest. Down. Torres's office loomed. His voice, cold, kill them all. I peeked, him, lean and scarred. 4 heavies. Jamal stormed in, Glock roaring. 2 dropped. I flanked, N4 bursting. 3rd fell. The 4th tackled me. I rolled, stabbed his gut, snapped his neck. Torres bolted. Panic room. I sprinted, tackled him mid-swipe. He swung a blade. I parried, smashed his face. Blood sprayed. You're done, I snarled, zip-tying him. We dragged him out, Jamal limping from a graze. Back at base, I stared at Torres, my shop's destroyer. 1 step up. Talk, I said, knife tapping his chest. He smirked. You're too late, Seal. For Jamal, I whispered, driving the blade in slow. He gasped. Gone. Jamal watched, grim. Rico's free now. Close, I said. But shadows nagged. Torres' files spilled a name. Chief Waller, the corrupt police brass, tying the Vipers to the cartel. He'd funded Brewer, armed snake, pulled Torres's strings from a precinct downtown. Torres was a tool, Waller was the hand. Jamal and I had blood left to spill. We locked Torres's body in a crate, burned it later. Waller's untouchable, Jamal said, flipping files. Guards, cameras, city cover. Next meets in 2 days. Safe house, outskirts. Hit the meat, I said, cleaning my M4. Thin him, take him. Jamal nodded, loading mags. For Rico too. We struck at dusk, safe house glowing in the suburbs. I rigged C4 on the gate. Blast tore it wide, smoke rising. Jamal flanked, dropping guards with silenced shots. I climbed a rooftop, sniping 2, clean kills. Hit the yard erupted. Gunfire, shouts. Jamal tossed Molotovs. Cars blazed, guards scattered. I stormed in. Men 4 barking, 4 down. A heavy tackled me. I rolled, knifed his throat. Jamal took a hit, arm, bad. I dragged him to cover, firing back. Waller's voice barked over a radio. You're dead, he'd bolt soon. We pushed inside, Jamal bleeding, but moving. The war wasn't over. Later, I gripped Jamal's ID, his laugh, fierce, trusting. I'd failed him then. I'd end it. Jamal patched himself, grim. Rico's ghost rides with us. With us, I said. Waller waited. Waller's safe house was a fortress, brick walls, armed shadows, a chief's panic room. Jamal's arm bled through the bandage, but his eyes burned. We'd hit the meat. Buyers arriving, guards stretched. Time to cut the head. Service entrance, I said, spotting a side door. Power's back there. Cut it, breach fast. Jamal grinned, weak but game. Let's finish it. We moved at midnight, suburbs quiet. I fried the grid. Lights died. Chaos flared. Guards shouted. I dropped 2 with suppressed shots. Jamal flanked, Glock spitting. 2 more down. We hit the entrance. C4 blowing the lock. Metal screamed. Inside, buyers scrambled. Suits, guns, panic. I tossed a flashbang. Light and thunder stunned. Men 4 barked. 3 dropped. Blood on tile. Jamal took a round. Leg shallow, grunted. Kept firing. A heavy charged me. I sidestepped, snapped his neck. Waller's office loomed. Him old and wiry. Pistol up. Your ants, he snarled. Firing. I dove, round grazing my arm. Jamal lunged, weak. Waller shot him. Chest blooming red. I tackled Waller, smashed his face. Gun fell. For my shop, I growled. Knife sinking into his gut. Twisting. He gasped. Gone. Jamal slumped, breathing shallow. Finish it, he rasped. I dragged him out. Safe house blazing. Sirens closing. He faded in the truck. Eyes locked on mine. Then still. I burned him later. Glock in the flames. Alone, I held Jamal's ID. You're enough. I'd failed then. Now I'd ended it. Waller's death severed the town's corrupt spine, but his files whispered one final name. Don Alvarez, a cartel overlord tying the Vipers to the broader network. He'd bankrolled Brewer's cops, armed Torres, and pulled Waller's strings from a desert compound near the border. Jamal and Rico were gone, leaving me alone with the ghosts. I'd end Alvarez, or he'd rebuild the rot. I patched my arm, grazed from the safe house in a dusty shack, wind howling outside. My MIN-4 rested clean, suppressor gleaming. The files detailed Alvarez's compound, bunkers, drones, 15 guards. A drop was set for tomorrow. Airstrip, midnight. I'd hit it solo, thin them out, and take him down. I rolled out at dusk, a stolen jeep rattling over sand dunes. The airstrip sprawled, hangars, a runway. Alvarez's plane prepped. I scouted, 12 guards, 2 drones overhead. Power's key, I muttered, rigging C4 on the grid. I'd cut it, hit fast, snipe from the shadows. Night fell, shadows stretching. I triggered the C4, lights died, drones crashed. Guards shouted. I climbed a hangar roof, dropping a sentry with a knife. Silent, I sighted, popped 3 more. Clean shots, heads snapping back. The airstrip erupted. Gunfire, chaos. I tossed a Molotov, crates blazed, guards scattering. I slid down, hitting a knot of men. 4 shots, 4 kills. A drone rebooted, buzzing low. I chucked more. C4, blast shredded it. Midair. Alvarez's voice barked over a radio. Hold them, he'd bolt soon. I pushed inside, boots steady on blood-slick concrete. The end was close. Later, I gripped Jamal's ID, his laugh soft, fierce. I'd failed him once. Not now. Alone I carried them all. Jamal, Rico, my shop. Alvarez waited. Alvarez's compound was a bunker. Steel doors, armed enforcers, a plane humming with escape plans. The drop was chaos. Crates unloading. Guards stretched thin. My arm ached, but my resolve burned. I'd end this, or join the ghosts. Vent shaft, I said to myself, spotting an intake near the hangar. I'd drop in breach solo. I crawled the shaft, then 4 slung tight, sweat stinging my eyes. It dumped me in a guard post. 3 men, radios crackling. I dropped behind, knife flashing. 2 throats slit, 3rd snapped quiet. The hall pulsed red, alarms blaring. I moved fast, hitting a squad, 4 guards, rifles up. Flashbang rolled, pop, they staggered. 3 headshots, 1 chest down. Alvarez's office loomed, him broad and cold, barking at 2 heavies. I stormed in, men 4 roaring, 1 dropped. I flanked, bursting, 2nd fell. Alvarez fired a pistol. I dove, round grazing my shoulder. I tackled him, fierce, smashed his knee, gun clattering. You're done, I snarled, zip-tying him.
Oh.
Who else? He sneered. You're too late. The network lives. For Jamal, I said, knife to his throat. He laughed, defiant, mad. I slashed deep, blood sprayed. He slumped. I limped out, compound burning, airstrip a graveyard. Back in the jeep, I held Jamal's ID. You got this, kid. Close, brother. The war wasn't over yet. One last shadow lingered. Alvarez's files spilled a final name, Mayor Grayson, the political puppet tying it all together. He'd shielded Waller, funded Alvarez, and buried my shop's destruction from a mansion in town. Jamal and Rico rested in ash, but I'd finish it, for them, for the life I'd built, for the promise I'd broken. I drove back, shoulder patched, Jamal's ID cold in my pocket. Grayson's mansion was a vault, guards, cameras, high walls. A meet was set, buyers, midnight. I'd cut the power, hit fast, ended alone. The town glowed at dusk. I parked a mile out, jeep ditched. I wired the garage, smoke bombs popped, chaos, drawing guards. I hit the service gate, men 4 up, 2 guards dropped, knife and shot, silent. The mansion buzzed, voices, deals. I tossed a flashbang, light and thunder stunned 'em. Men 4 barked, 3 buyers down, blood on marble. Grayson stood, slick and old, pistol raised. You're nothing, he snarled, firing. I rolled, round clipping my vest. I tackled him, smashed his face, gun fell. For my shop, I growled, knife sinking into his gut, twisting. He gasped, gone. I torched the files, mansion blazed, sirens closing. I slipped out, blood and smoke trailing. Alone in the jeep, I held Jamal's ID. You're enough. I'd failed then. Now I'd ended it. Grayson's death severed the last link. Cops, vipers, cartel, all ash. The ghosts, Jamal, Rico, my shop, rested in the silence I'd carved. I buried their memory by the river, water swallowing the weight. Jamal's ID stayed with me, a scar I'd carry forever. One last stop, the shop I'd lost. I drove back, dawn breaking over the hills. The lot loomed, quiet now. The rot burned out. I stood in the ruins, ash crunching under my boots. Jamal's laugh echoed, you're the man tied. I'd kept him alive in spirit, lost him to cowards. Now, I'd avenged him. The files named no more, no shadows left. Brewer's crew, Snake's vipers, Torres, Waller, Alvarez, Grayson, all gone. I'd torn their empire down, piece by piece, with Jamal, Rico, and the ghosts riding shotgun. The cost was high, friends lost, scars earned, but the scales balanced. I walked the town, Idaho in hand. A kid waved, a local boy, safe now. Jamal's fight won. I nodded, throat tight. He'd lived for that building, not breaking. I'd broken for him. It was enough. Later, I sat by the river, water, glinting under the sun. Jamal's voice faded. Rest now, boss. I could. The M4 stayed packed, the knife sheathed. No more hunts, no more blood, just quiet, a SEAL's peace. I left at dusk, road stretching empty. The ID stayed in my pocket, lighter now. I'd promised him a future, kept it through hell. The ghosts rested. Jamal, Rico, my shop. I'd carry them, but the fight was done. For the first time, I breathed free.